My name's Robbie, and this is my narrowboat, the Naughty Lass. For almost a decade, I've been exploring our canals, recording my adventures as I go. This is incredible. This time, I'm attempting a journey of around 300 miles through the north of England and the Midlands. From Sheffield, I'll make my way up country, joining the River Trent, and then on to the Chesterfield Canal. After Lincoln, I'll travel to Nottingham, and then onwards to Leicester, before I reach Braunston, the spiritual home for narrowboaters. All filmed during the quieter and colder months of autumn and winter. I've got my plan, but my plans don't always work out. Oh, I can hear all the gravel. I could be in big trouble. So jump on board for my Canal Boat Diaries. Right, what a mad start to the journey this is. I'm about to go underneath the streets of Lincoln. There's people everywhere. There's buskers on that main street there. And yeah, it's all happening at once. This is incredible. Loving it. Here we go. On this leg, I'm starting at High Bridge in Lincoln. I'm heading to Torksey, where I'll join the tidal Trent, and then on to Newark, before arriving in Nottingham. It's around 57 miles by boat. Just in the middle of Brayford Pool, once apparently used by the Romans as a port, and it would have been a lot larger than it is today. But it's great, we've got everything going on here: restaurants, bars, university buildings. Lincoln's definitely one of my favourite cities to visit, and it definitely makes the most of its waterfront. I've never thought of myself as an explorer. You know, I'm not Captain Cook, am I? I'm not discovering new continents. But I have always gone off the beaten track. If I can see a hill, I want to see what the view's like the other side. And on the water, yeah, I've got that itchy tiller syndrome. I always want to, you know, keep going, keep travelling. Built by the Romans, this ancient waterway connects the River Witham and Lincoln to the Trent. The story goes the Danes used it when invading England in the 11th century. I'm just about to pass by a marina that sells diesel, so I'm going to get into my tank and see how much diesel is left. I don't want to be trapped on the tidal river with not enough fuel. So let's just cut the fuel line. And then I'll quickly, I'm just floating in the middle of this navigation, get my meter rule. I know that there's 225 litres that can fit inside my tank, but the ruler that I'm going to stick in there, it's not going to measure volume, it's just going to act as a dipstick. It has dropped some way. I think I'm going to need to pick up some diesel, pretty sharpish. Don't want to get caught out. Just like any time of year, there's pros and cons. In autumn and winter, it's quieter. You can really enjoy the areas that you're mooring up in. You can take things slow. You can just get some firewood and make your place look cosy, light the fire. But on the flip side of that, the days are very short. The weather is very changeable. And yeah, if you let the fire go out, you're going to be very cold. I've made it to Saxby. It is dark, but I can see there's some lampposts lighting up some moorings, so I should be all right. Driving a car at night is a lot different to driving a boat. But I've still got my trusty head torch that will help me tie the ropes up. Oh, fantastic. When it comes to relaxing on my boat, after a long day of cruising or going through locks, whatever it is, I just want to veg out and play computer games or stare at the screens. But tonight I've put all that stuff in a box and going right back to basics. I've even lit some candles and tidied the place up. So I'm actually quite chilled out now, I'm a bit exhausted. Yeah, it's just quite nice to sit by the fire, just read a book, have a cup of tea and maybe some biscuits as well. Setting off really early this morning to try and make a tidal river lock in this mist and fog. Hopefully it will clear by the time they actually let me out. But I also want to see something else, something a little bit different before I leave. I choose to live this life and I feel like I'm in control, even though there's a thought at the back of my head saying, you can't afford a house. It's like, well, actually, I don't want a house. I'm fine with it. You have to come to terms with things, don't you? Appreciate what you got. Easier said than done, but that's the ticket. Right, here I am at Tuxie Lock. I can see the red light of the lock ahead of me saying I can't go through just yet. In fact, I'm here with plenty of time. So I can have a little wander, have a little explore, see what I can find. On the banks of the Trent, Tuxie Castle was a 16th century fortified manor house. It was lived in for less than 100 years before falling victim to the English Civil War, being burned down by royalist soldiers. This journey is all about castles in a way, and this is just our first one. Back at the lock, the green light means I can move on. Thankfully, there's some help on offer. Right, cheers guys, thanks very much. See ya. The reason why I've got to go out this time and I can't wait for a different weather window is the tides. I'm leaving at the start of a rising tide and that will push me towards my destination at Cromwell. Long journey ahead of me. It's exciting, an adventure. I've run aground on the river before and it's given me a much greater care and respect for rivers. So I'm really looking out for shoals, sandbanks, sunken islands, all these sort of obstacles. But when it is so foggy, it's very difficult to tell you actually where you are to reference that on your map. Oh, this is cutting it fine. The lock keeper's on till 4. It's 5 minutes to 4 now, but I can just see the lock just round the corner. Oh, I think we're going to make it. But there's so much water, fresh water coming the other way. It's been a real struggle, going flat out still. Oh, man, I've just noticed the engine temperature soared up. Over 100 degrees. Oh man. Well, nothing's on fire, so that's a good thing. But it's never been this hot before. I've really worked this engine. And as soon as we've gotten off the river, residual heat just kept on going. And yeah, I'm not even going to go near it. You've done well, old girl. You've done very well. Just keep your cool for now. With my engine cooled, I'm ready to press on. But there's been heavy rainfall further north and the river has risen. No, this is a big no. My engine has already overheated on the previous section on the tidal river. And this is even worse, the flow that I'm fighting right now. I'm barely even moving on from treading water and I'm going at near top speed. Yeah, I'm going to have to drop the revs slightly, back it up, just wait for this river to die down. Well, if it ever does. In winter, stuff like this, it's a regular occurrence. As a boater, you can at times underestimate things, such as the flow of a river, and boy did I get that wrong. I'm now faced with just staying here until the river calms down a bit. Because right now, there's no way I'm going back out on there. Sometimes boating requires patience, as now and again you can be in for a long wait. The flow of the water is just still too much. The highlight of my day is seeing what size bit of wood floats past. That's about it, really. Oh, so good to be back on the move again. Been stuck in one place for 2.5 weeks. I'm not stupid, I always thought this part of the river is going to be challenging. You know, not only just the tidal section, but in winter, the flow of the river. I mean, the River Trent is second largest in terms of flow and volume of water that it carries in England. So you've got to give it a little bit of respect. It's always going to be a challenge. From here at North Muscombe, I'm heading to Newark, and then on to my destination of Nottingham. I've got about 28 miles to go. I've been doing a little bit of research, as you do, looking down on the map, and right next to the river here is a fishing lake. There's actually a boat graveyard as well. These relics are river barges made from concrete, produced when steel was in short supply during the war. They're exceptionally heavy and required deep water, and have been abandoned here for over half a century. I don't think I would have coped with living on a canal boat back when they were used for work. In winter, how tough would that be? Living with your family all crammed in at the back. And the majority of the boat is given over to your cargo. You've got a horse to look after, which is churning up the towpath and making it all muddy. It would just be so difficult. Right, the time is getting on. Daylight is fading. I need to find somewhere to moor, but luckily I am in Newark now, so I can stop here and have a few days looking around. And I might even get some Christmas shopping done in the town itself. They've even got a castle here, so yeah, it's a great spot. Known locally as the Guardian of the Trent, Newark Castle stands proudly on the riverbank. Built around 900 years ago, it's weathered many historic storms. Tell you what, Newark Market is buzzing today. I've come on the right day, clearly, because there's all these stalls everywhere, everyone's buying stuff. It's great. There's all sorts being sold here, from veg to antiques, and even some Christmas decorations. Traditionally in my family, the Christmas tree would go up on Christmas Eve, and that's because I grew up on a garden centre. So the customers would have theirs first, and we'd just have whatever's left. But I'm just well chuffed I found this little tree that's just the right size for a narrowboat. Haha, there we go. It's Christmas. just leaving Newark now. Spent a few days here, and it's been a tough old journey getting here, but I've got some extra challenges ahead in terms of a lock that is supposed to be closed for about a month, but I've got a window of opportunity where a work boat is going to go through, and I'm going to try and join them if I can. Yeah, it's winter, short days, so who knows if I can make it. Fingers crossed. Stay positive. Trent River barges like this one, called Leicester Trader, once carried everything from tobacco leaves to cement between the Humber ports and the city of Nottingham.
Hey Robbie, how you doing?
It's great to see. Les, the owner there, who's just given us a wave, he's keeping this thing going. And it's also a museum as well, so you can have a good old look around if you want to. You might notice I've got a tattoo on my arm. It's my first. I don't think it'll be my last. It's a northern star. So sailors would traditionally have these on them to guide them home. But for me, it means a little bit more than that, because my boat's name, when it was first built, was Northern Star. So another reason why I had it done. Plus, I turned 40 this year, and yeah, a bit of a midlife crisis, I guess. I'm running aground here. I've gotten too close to the side. Uh-oh. I could be in big trouble. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, 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 this is it. Oh my goodness, thank God for that. Oh, that was a close one. It just goes to show how the river can catch you out, especially when you've had a long day on the tiller. Coming up to the lock here as the sun's going down, so I've made it in good time. I've got a message on my phone from the project manager saying all good to go for tomorrow, so I'm well happy that I'll actually be able to get through this lock. But I've also seen a change in temperature outside right now. It's -3 degrees Celsius, so a cold journey into Nottingham. This lock still being worked on, still being fixed, but today they're letting me through because there's a work boat that's going to come in as I leave, so that's why I'm allowed to go through today. So Dave, what is changing to this lock? What are you doing to it?
The last time major works happened at the lock was about 20 years ago, so we're giving it all new wires, new control panels going in, and getting it ready for the 21st century, so it's easier for boaters coming through.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, I'm going to crack on to Nottingham now, but yeah, thanks for making my trip
No worries. Hope you
a lot quicker.
Yeah, hope
cheers.
you have a good trip and it gets warmer up at Nottingham.
See you later.
Cheers, bud.
Built on former gravel works and using water from the Trent, this has been the training ground for many of the world's top freestyle kayakers.
When most people think about Nottingham, they think about Robin Hood. But for me, it's very much a city that is intertwined with the history of canals. There's some great moorings here and also some really fantastic historic pubs, some of the oldest in the country.
Leaving the river, I joined the Nottingham and Beeston Canal, originally owned by two different companies. They even installed a chain across the waterway, preventing boats from passing without paying a toll.
It's nice to be back on a canal and also back in a city as well. I do love being out in the middle of nowhere on my own, but it's nice to see people again and be close to facilities and be able to actually buy some supplies. But look at this. This is why I'm so excited to be back in Nottingham. Fellows Morton and Clayton, probably the most successful canal carriers of all time. Not only have you got this incredible building here, but it's right next to the British Waterways building, which is just such a sight to see.
But while I'm getting carried away with the canal architecture, the naughty lass has a mind of her own. For now, this is Journey's End, whether I like it or not.
Oh, I do not need this. My oil pressure gauge has just burst or leaked out all the oil, so there's no oil in my engine. And it's happened right in the middle of Nottingham city centre. Oh dear, that is not how I wanted to end my journey. 57 miles. It's been one of the most challenging trips I've ever taken. But at least I know what I want for Christmas, and that is my oil pressure switch to be fixed. Yeah, that's boating. You just have to go with the flow.